social media playbook is what we're teaching today. What's really cool, hot off the press, is that this class is CE approved in the state of Utah for one elective credit. So you get to learn about, I would say, systems, fundamentals, and strategy for social media for this year. And you get CE credit for it. So you're in a good spot. You're in the right spot. Um, I am going to introduce myself. We're having a few people jump on. I just want to set the room. So obviously it's a digital classroom environment. So any questions you have that come up, put it in the chat. And then I will take stopping points and make sure I answer any of your questions to the best of my ability. And we'll just navigate it that way. There might be a couple of moments where I ask for input or feedback or thoughts or anything like that. And if you want to raise your digital hand is the best way to do it. So then not everyone starts speaking at the same time. How you do that is just if you're on your phone, in your reactions. And if not, then you can also just unmute yourself and say your answer as well. There's enough of us where it's not too crazy. And then, yeah, we'll just get started from here on out. So my name is Kimber Walton. Let me go to the next slide. So this is a little bit about me. I'm looking at these names. A lot of you I don't know. So usually I kind of just skim over this, but I will go through this really quick so that you know who I am. So I'm a licensed agent at KW South Valley, which is, I put Salt Lake City because outside of the state of Utah, that's what everybody knows. But KW South Valley is located in South Jordan, Utah, right at the entrance of Daybreak. I hold a few roles within Keller Williams. So I'm the director of marketing for the Home Hub. That's basically shared services that support our 3 Keller Williams locations in Salt Lake County. And I am also the regional technology trainer. So most likely why I'm here is a little bit of both of those. I know a lot about marketing and also I work for our region, which is the entire state of Utah. There are 8 locations within the state of Utah for Keller Williams. And I always like to put this because it's a fun fact. It's fun being number one. Keller Williams is number 1 in market share in the state of Utah. So those are a little bit about me and what qualifies me to teach this class. This is something that if you're not with Keller Williams, you're not aware of, but we have an approved trainer program with Keller Williams University. So how you become an approved trainer is training a lot, getting a lot of feedback on how you can do better, and continually getting reviews on Keller Williams approved curriculum. So I just became KWU approved, and there's 155 in our company of about over 100 and I think 60,000 agents and staff. And so that's me. I have my number and my email here if you have any follow-up questions on some of the things that we talk about today. And because this is a CE class, we are going to monitor your attendance as far as majority of the class being here for CE credit. So just so you're aware of those things. Okay, so this is applicable to what we're talking about today. It's recent, meaning the beginning of this year. 2025 is probably the longest year on record. It feels like we've been in this year for a long time. But this happened at the beginning of the year, and most of you know this. So I want to chat recent news because it's applicable to what we're talking about with social media. So TikTok, you probably heard that for literally a day, TikTok went away. So our government had serious concerns over TikTok's handling of user data and its ties to the Chinese government, right? So there were security concerns. There have been bans and restrictions outside of even the United States. There are some countries that have banned it outright, and like India. And so there was definitely regulatory pressure to remove it or regulate it heavily. And so so they shut it down. So what I am showing you is an actual screenshot of opening up TikTok one day as my preferred and my favorite social media platform, at least for consumption. And it said this, sorry, TikTok isn't available right now. You can't come on this. So sorry. Well, 12 hours later, this is also another screenshot I made, which was thanks for your patience. We figured it out. TikTok is back, right? So we definitely mourned its loss. I know TikTok isn't, not everybody uses it. I have a handful of friends that I have to download videos if I send them to them because they don't even use TikTok. So this class isn't about TikTok. It's just this is applicable to our conversation today. But yeah, welcome back. So what did that teach us? Because as someone that uses a social media platform, think of your favorite platform that you use. You don't have to say it out loud, just think about that. And think if you went and opened up your phone right now and it didn't open, it said, sorry, we don't have this anymore, right? It would spook you a little because you would realize, which is obvious, that not everything is so much in our control, right? So this is what I learned from this specific thing. So we need a bigger bench of platforms and technology that we're comfortable using. So creators, specifically people using TikTok, realized really quickly and in 12 hours that if their whole strategy was in one medium and one platform, well, that could go away at any moment, not just because of government regulation, but also because trends change so much, right? That if we put all of our eggs in one basket, then we might feel completely shocked, worried, scared in an instance, right? And we wouldn't have control over that. So that was one of the things that we learned. We also learned we need to stop putting off incorporating video into our marketing strategy. I learned that specifically in the sense of consumers want to learn and process information that they receive on social media in preferred ways. And that way changes with trends, with our attention span changing. I've noticed my attention span has changed since scrolling days versus before when I just had a phone that had numbers that called people. That was a fun time, but we don't have that anymore. And so video is huge. People like to see a person talking, telling them something. Sometimes it's better than always reading something. And the biggest thing is we have such short attention spans that either video or carousels, we'll talk about those in a minute, they need to be very compelling in a short amount of time. We have to have a lot of strategy around it. And then the last one is we need to make sure that our online following is captured in our database. We will drive this home with an actual strategy from an actual top agent in the United States that a few of us on here know personally. But he took the social media playbook, used it at a high level, and then he didn't stop there. He translated that into building a database that now he has a really big real estate business and he's a top agent in his market. So those are kind of the things that I learned from that, right? Those TikTok influencers, they have a lot of their, uh-oh, Gordon.
I am not sure.
Okay. Go to the next one. Is it just gonna stay there? Who is drawing on the page? Okay, I think we'll be good. That was not me though, so don't make fun of my design now that has green spots on it. Okay. So, updates for Instagram. So these are some of the updates that have come out recently. So our social media playbook that we're going to share with you, we have, it was written a while ago. And if you don't already know, social media news is outdated pretty much 6 months from the time that you deliver it. So I could write a social media book about right now, and it would be outdated. Just 6 months from now, right? So I like to add a few of these slides so that all of you know kind of the current breaking news, things that are important. Sizing is a big one. So Instagram updated their sizes. So it used to be 1080 by 1080, which is a perfect square. They now changed that to 1080 by 1350, mainly because they want the sizing of this to be a little bit closer to that video size, right? That real size. And so this is just going to be more favorably viewed by everybody looking at your profiles. So if you have maybe an old template, right? All of us have like a good just listed template that we might use. Go and make sure that it's not a perfect square, that it's updated to the current sizing. If you use Canva and you have something like Canva Pro, you can go and just resize it to the exact size that Instagram wants. This is a perfect visual right here, though. That square cutting off is what you would see. So if you have content down or here, that's going to cut things off. So you want to have your any template that you have be the correct size. So that's fairly new. It's not like hot off the press, I would say in the last 3 months, but something to remember. Um, this is a very, very hot off the press thing as far as what's working. So because I do what I do, I follow top, not even influencers, but people that teach on social media that are connected with heads of Instagram. I follow them on purpose because I want to know, as the algorithm is changing, what trends people are seeing. I want to be in the know on that. So carousels are actually back to being high performing content if they're done correctly. So what a carousel is you have multiple pictures. And so there's one picture and then you can upload like 5 pictures and then people can just go like this and scroll on the same post and see all your pictures. The most common one that people do for their personal life is I went on a vacation. Here are the pictures from my vacation, right? And there's multiple pictures. For business owners, specifically for real estate agents, I think because this is a CE class, that's the audience I'm talking to. For real estate agents, it's just a tiny bit different. So on the left here, these are the things that we want our carousel to have in it in order to be as effective for engagement as we're looking at. So we want 5 to 8 words, right? Less words, but have them be very purposeful. Use negative words. So this is kind of funny, but you want to have a little bit of a hook in there, right? So I gave you an example here on the left. I just found a listing that's way underpriced. There could be a million other great examples, but this is one. So does anyone kind of have an urge to be like, can I see it? What is it? What's underpriced? Right? Like where'd you find it? Prices are crazy right now. I want to go to the next slide, right? So, but that feels a little bit like negative, right? Or, so just think about that in the sense of the opposite way I could say that is here is a listing under 600,000. That's great. I'm still kind of keeping it in the realm of people interested in a certain budget, but I've really cut that off and I'm still kind of saying positive versus this has a little bit more of a, this is underpriced, come and look at this. And then bold fonts is always a good idea just because, and I can speak for this now because when I go into a classroom, I cannot see the board if it is not like right in front of me. So my, I guess they call it nearsightedness is getting a little bit bad, but people just, if they can't see it immediately and have it stand out, they just ignore it, right? So think about with bold fonts that accounts for, a lot of us don't have those like 20-year-old eyes anymore. And we just, it's just going to be something we ignore, right? If we can't see it, if the font's too small. So that is one of the pieces of the recipe you want to be thinking about. And then adding a person or an image in this one, because it was a listing, I just put a photo that I had of the interior of a home that I had permission to use. Your image, if you have like brand photos, that's great. Anything that kind of draws people to something other than just text, it just adds to the image. And then CTA, if you don't know the acronym, is call to action to swipe. So you can say something like swipe for more info or swipe for details, right? You have that hook. Or you can even use something as universal as an arrow just to tell me, what do I do? What do you want me to do? What's next, right? So this tells me, yes, I can go look below and see, oh, there's multiple pictures on this by the little dots on Instagram. But sometimes people don't even know that that feature is available on Instagram. An arrow is a universal go that way. So then I'm going to swipe to the next one. And again, you'll notice I'm not giving out all the details. I'm just saying this house, this price. These are the features that really caught my eye for it being under 600,000. And then do you want details? Just message me. So again, another call to action where what I am doing is putting out content, but I'm encouraging you to engage with me to learn more about this. This is kind of the stuff social media is made of, right? This is the thought you really want to put in some of the things that you're posting. Okay, I'm going to jump over. Oh, Kevin is like helping us to disable. Starting your screen share whiteboard session. Okay, I'll do that in a second.
I tried
Unless,
to do that on my site, it wouldn't let me.
oh, okay, even though you're a thing.
Yeah, because you're sharing your screen.
Oh, okay. Um, should we stop for a second and do that, or should I just keep going? Is everyone thrown off by the green?
Yeah, you'll have to do it from yours
Oh,
because
okay.
you're sharing your screen.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me see if that can take me 2 minutes. I might do that. But if in the meantime, if anyone has any questions, throw them in the chat. So far, it's just Kevin trying to help us out. Okay, and then well, I don't see where it says that. So maybe we're gonna need to do something after. Yeah, I don't see it. Okay, well, good for us to know. Oh, well, it went away, so that works. That works too. Okay, so then another thing coming down the pipeline, I've noticed it, sometimes not everybody's noticed it yet. So again, squares are gone, real covers, they've been this size, but it's a good reminder. Reels are 1080 by 1920, which is again just that more landscape rectangle size. Text should be centered, be aware of margins. So what you're going to want to be aware of with that is any platform you use, right? Whether it's Instagram, TikTok, you've got the little hearts on the side, you've got the caption on the bottom, and sometimes you've got even another thing right here. So if your text is leaning towards the sides or the bottom, things are going to be cut off. And it's interesting, that actually frustrates people that are watching your content because they're like, oh, I can't read that or I can't see it. So that's just something to kind of be aware of. You should be able to post content directly and only to your grid by passing the feed and allowing your followers entirely. So this is something coming out where you can actually basically start to curate your feed. This I don't want to go because we only have an hour too much down the rabbit hole with, but there's some exciting things that are updating. Really, it's just to keep the platforms more user friendly. I listened to I guess it was a podcast that this creator that I was just talking about was interviewing the head of Instagram. And I'm not going to go through the details that he said, but what I took away from it at a higher level is Instagram watches what we use and what we don't use, and they adjust accordingly. And they also have a motive, not a motive, motive sounds negative. um, they also have incentive to keep you on the platform. And so they're looking at all those analytics behind the scene, which is why it changes so often. So that's kind of the social media 101 for you as far as how it all works on the back end. So we're going to quickly talk about why social media. We're going to do a quick audit and we're going to share a few models for you that you can just go and implement immediately. So I love to teach workshop style classes if we're in person where I feel like everyone walked away with it. In a digital environment, it's a tiny bit different, but you are going to walk away with the playbook of, okay, here's how I can implement this exact thing that Kimber's going over today. And in playbook fashion, I have never played a sport, I just danced. But in a playbook fashion, it's basically here's the thing that will work, go do that. It's not, well, but the coach says, here's the play, we're going to run this play similar, right? So, and the nice thing is, it's not just do as I say, not as I do. This is actually an agent that has done this play. And the reason why he was asked to put it on words and get it printed in a book is because he did it at a high level. So, this is just a quick little fun statistic to drive home everything I just said. And this was as of 2021. So this is just 10x since then. YouTube had a huge rise around this time. Facebook kind of flatlined. Instagram was still having an uptick, but tiny bit of curve. And you can see the other one that really took a big jump was TikTok. And so that kind of drives home the point of video being important. I love this statistic that's pretty simple at the bottom. 82% of the US population uses social media. I don't like to get too much into the weeds about statistics, but I put that on here on purpose. If you aren't being very intentional about social media in your strategy for your business, there's your statistic of why that's a miss. 82% uses it. And sometimes I feel like that would be even more. This is my favorite quote. Seth Godin is one of my favorite. He's a marketing genius, marketing guru. He talks a lot about messaging and attracting clients, people you want to work with. This is his quote: "People do not buy goods and services, they buy relations, stories, and magic." I share it with you right now to be like, that's the goal with us, with stuff we share on social media. We're trying to build a relationship. We're telling them a story of what we do or how we can help them or things that we've helped other people with. And just that feeling of magic. Like how does it different to work with me versus another agent? This is our job as real estate agents as far as on the marketing side. We can stay in prospecting lane a long time, which is just call our people, reach out, get them invited, ask them if they need a CMA, right? Prospecting side. Marketing, it's got a little bit more of the shiny fancy. And so when we're in the marketing lane, we need to be thinking about those three things: relationships. Are we telling our story? Are we letting people know the things that we're doing or that we've done? And magic, however we want to define that. Okay, so here's your quick Instagram audit. Um, Again, if we're in person, I'm gonna have you do this. We're gonna wait and talk about it as a group. But these are the things, and any of these you can screenshot if you want. Can I see your face? So if you look at your Instagram right now and you just have a ton of your just listed, which is great. We want to know that you are selling houses and listing houses, but can I see your face? So human connection is a huge thing. And how I'm going to build trust with you and connect with you is if I know what you look like, if I see that maybe every now and then you jump in one of those closing photos that you have your clients take. Um, that just helps overall your capture. So, can I see your face is the first thing I would do if I was auditing your Instagram. Are you sharing local spots that are recognizable? So why this is important is, again, if I skim over your Instagram, do I have any idea that you are a real estate agent that sells majority of the homes you sold last year were in Daybreak? Can I just see that without clicking on posts? Even if I maybe see like a lake or something like that, I might have to go find more info. But a lot of times as agents, we're not focusing on the local aspect, yet the local people that are in that community are the clients we're looking to serve. So it seems counterproductive that that's not a focus for us, right? We want to be recognizable with the area so that the people that are in that area can trust us as someone that knows the area. Can I see what you're doing? This is harder. The further away you get from generations that have had this as normal. So I'm going Christmas shopping this year, and there is two girls in front of me with their mom, and I'm guessing they're in that 12 to 13 range. They probably put five things just while we were in that line on social media of what they were doing. That is not my generation necessarily, right? I definitely document, but when I'm in line going to buy something at Nordstrom, I'm not about to think, do I need this to be on social media right now? But that is the generation behind us. That is their focus. They're very used to being able to see everything and see what's going on. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying if you had a busy real estate day where you were um, at a model home, you were at a design meeting, you held an open house, you put an open house on the corner of a busy intersection, balloons flew in your face, whatever it is, you think that that's not important, but for me that might use you as an agent, it actually shows me you're out doing what I potentially would be hiring you for, right? I can see it. And as soon as I can see it, then I'm connecting with you. Now I feel it. Are you sharing your unique perspective and insights, allowing me to connect or engage with you? Or do you have a lot of graphics that look like ads? So this is easy. You look down at your Instagram. Is it just like, I have a home buyer checklist and it's very graphic based and you put the same headshot on everyone? If you go back and look and see that you get traction on that, I will always be team keep doing what's working. And I'm going to guess that that's not what's working. You're not getting a ton of business off of your ad looking posts, right? So we're just starting with this audit so that now we know, okay, I'm not really showing the things I'm doing. I'm not showing my face. And it definitely looks like an advertisement versus, hey, let me go learn about this agent. Let me go learn what they offer. This is not a branding class, but one of my favorite things that when I teach branding, that I like to tell people is brand is so people know you when they need you. So, what you want to be is top of mind in that moment that they need to buy a home or sell a home. So although the balloons in your face video just feels really weird, I mean, I'll speak for myself, it feels weird at the moment. Um, it could be the difference of me being top of mind in any given moment, especially if I'm doing it consistently and showing up. Okay, so here's your model. This is in the playbook we're going to share with you. I'm purposely not sharing it until the end because as soon as I put in a link, it's distracting and we go look at that instead of looking at the content. But this is your model. We are big about models at Keller Williams because systems are what changes, right? So right now in our region, we are heavily focused on AI technology. That is a system in order to do our job. That was not around 3 years ago, at least to the level that it is now. Systems change consistently. Models do not. Models are evergreen and they're proven, and there's something that we want to build and incorporate into our business. So, this is a model for social media. And it's a nice acronym, so it's easy to remember. So the like model is what we use when we teach social media. So this allows you to create content and further build relationships, which is one of the things we just established was important. So the four pieces of that are local lowdown. So again, focusing on local information, sharing information, letting people know, hey, this new market report came out. Like, let me break it down for you. So the news that doesn't know what they're talking about isn't going to break it down for you, right? Know me. So this is that I'm going to connect with you easier if I know you. I know you are a real estate agent. I'm just looking at my screen, Cabin. But what do you like to do? What's like, what is your family? Like, where do you live? What area do you like to serve? Like, even more of a little bit personal. And I do that as vague because people's comfort level of being personal online, especially in a business aspect, is so different, is changes. So there isn't a right or wrong way to do that. And what way are you comfortable with people knowing you? And then showing up for them consistently. Because brand is so people know you when they need you. And then just engaging in conversation. Sometimes we are killing it at the content we post on social, but then we're never responding to comments. We're not liking our people's stuff or their posts. We're not asking them questions. People love getting asked questions, especially about things that they've already displayed they're an expert on, right? So just engaging with our people. This is going to be that model. People do business with people they like. So that's how you're going to remember it, the like model. Okay, so local lowdown is basically just sharing things about your local area. Again, just for identity, so I know what area you serve. This is our region class, so I know there's a handful of you that are in Logan or Park City, right? Those are completely different communities than where I'm sitting right now in South Jordan. So using that local aspect to draw people in and then also identify yourself as that local area realtor is part of the strategy. So what we're doing with all of these, and again, we'll send this to you. I'm sharing some examples of like an AI prompt that I would use, again, because we're not really teaching marketing or implementing systems right now at Keller Williams without putting AI prompts at the forefront. So an AI prompt that I would use for community, and I just picked the city of Holiday. That's where I was born and raised. What would a local of Holiday consider a hidden gem that's relevant to our season right now? Write me 2 to 3 sentences on it for the Insider Insights portion of my email newsletter. So obviously you would change that if your newsletter isn't called Insider Insights. If you were looking for the local hidden gems of Heber, Utah, you would change that. And then season is big, especially in the state of Utah, because, things you can do in the summer are not things that you can do in the winter and vice versa. And so there's just an example of you would do that prompt, you'd get some sentences back about a hidden gem in the area. And then that's just something, again, you could include in your newsletter, but you could also repurpose it to social media. Okay. Local events is another one. Again, here's a prompt. Events that are happening in a certain month in a certain city. Give me 5 of the most popular for my newsletter or for social. Again, you just kind of switch out some of these things based on what you're doing. Provide sources so I can fact check. I add this because sometimes it sends weird stuff and I don't even know, like I think I know what's coming up in our area, but I don't know what it is. So I want it to tell me what website it got that from so I can go look at it, right? So that's a smart little tip for prompts. And then I said, here's the following template that I want. Like, this is how I want it to be laid out. I don't want bullet points. And then with all this information, can you write me 2 social posts to accompany this and a blog post with hyperlinks? What you're looking at right now could be an entire marketing person 5 years ago, right? And now AI allows you to really scale all of this, which scaling to me means I'm going to be able to be more consistent because if the market's a tiny bit down, this isn't a huge effect to my income to not have somebody on payroll doing this. I can now utilize AI for a lot of these things and do it at a high level. Okay, information is the next one. These are just some examples of how you would display information on social media. So market updates, industry news. You have probably watched KSL. And sometimes it's nice like click articles, right? So they don't have all the context. They might say something like the market's bad, or it feels a little bit like there's clouds over their statement that they say. So part of our duty, at least that I say is part of our duty as realtors, is to basically just break that news down as a realtor, right? We are a non-disclosure state, so we sold data, all of that. That's not public information. So we know a lot about the market that not everybody knows. And so I like to just say that's another tool we have in our tool belt. Tips for buying and selling. That's a common one, right? But here's some things that I've seen. Myths about the real estate industry, client success stories or closings. Again, I'm not sharing with you anything you probably haven't already heard. But when you're going to say, okay, every month I'm going to be posting about information, here are some examples. And then with permission, even if it's an open house or listing, permission that you have obviously from the seller and the listing agent to market the listing or to at least like display it on your social, then that's also another awesome opportunity to show things that that you're digging into the market, have it linked to an IDX search so they could go look at it themselves and all of the compliance data is on there. Information is a big piece. Oh, that has sound. That's fun. You guys can't hear that sound though, right? Okay, good, because it's kind of loud, so it's just annoying. Information, I just shared this as an example, that little video that just said, hey, do you want more info? I've also screenshotted a couple of local newsletters that I know go out. The left one is one that the Park City office actually uses. And then locally, we have a Wasatch Front one. So these are just actual examples of sending out, getting data from your source, which is usually the MLS, and then just letting your people know, here's what's going on. I can help you with more on that, more listings, whatever info you need. There you go. Okay, this is a new prompt. Some of you may have even attended it. We did a big virtual AI class. By the way, we do one of those every single month. So you have my info in that first slide. If you are interested in coming to our Zoom AI class that we do every month, this is something that just came from the one we taught about a week ago. So create a lead magnet titled, and then you could title it whatever you want. Here's my audience. The prompt should do these things: a monthly opt-in landing page, a preview of what they'll get. This is how I want to build trust. And this is another way you can even go create a lead magnet for your market update rather than just most of us just send it to our SOI. You can also use it as a way to capture new people that might be interested in getting that information. Okay, so know me. This one, I said, why is this one hard for you? If we're in a personal, if we're in in-person class, I usually try to pick on somebody. But why is this one hard for you? If anyone wants to raise their hand and just say, why is it hard for you to share um, just personal stuff? We don't have to get too deep on that. And if you're like, it's not hard, this is why it's not hard.
Mine is reminding myself to go into Facebook and respond to other people that have responded to me, and also like and comment on some of their posts.
Okay. Yeah, because aren't you just kind of on autopilot of consuming information when you jump on social media?
Yep. And
I
that's
love,
important because if you don't respond, they don't look at you as the person that knows the
yes,
data.
yes. And I love that you said that because knowing that you don't do that a lot, just, I mean, I'm big about time blocking. I'm going to time block once a week where I go get on social and I'm just going to engage with people. Like I almost have to tell myself, this is the like comment time. This isn't the, oh, go down the rabbit hole reading that article, right? But time blocking for it is going to be huge for engagement. Here's an example of just things you can do to just let people get to know you easier. Just go ahead and share with them your hobbies. And I'm going to pick on Gordon since he was the one that unmuted. One of your hobbies is, like being a really good at buying and selling rental properties, right? Like I know that's you have a business motivation for that, but I think it's kind of a hobby that you have as well. Traveling to internationally, those type of things, books that you like. It's funny as much as you're like, nobody cares about the book that I'm reading and what I'm learning from it. There's going to be someone else that likes that book and now they're more connected to you because you showed something that they also like, right? We love to connect with people that are like-minded. Gratitude, letting people know, like being gracious and thankful publicly is it's a good look, right? Sharing quotes and memes that resonate with you. I think people connect with you in the sense of she has my same personality, or she has my same sense of humor, or he has my same sense of humor. And then just sharing holidays, like again, I know family's always the iffy one, right? I have little kids, so I have a lot of close friends where they aren't even comfortable like sharing their child's faces and stuff. So I am not going to get on any personal soapbox about what's good and what's not, but as much as you're comfortable letting people know, like maybe there's a tradition that you have for holidays that might give someone an idea of a tradition they can start. And so this is just human connection 101 right here. I'm going to jump over to the chat. Oh, Barbara said, because trying to separate personal from business. Barbara, thanks for saying that. What I would say, because everyone always asks me, any social media class I teach is like, okay, so I have a personal page and I have a business page. What one should I post on? For me, this is if you were saying, what would you do? It's hard with what I would do now because I feel like I'm already there where my personal is my business, and I'm okay with that for now. But if I was starting from scratch, I would intentionally create a private page that's where I'm going to go put everything about my family. I may have 100 followers on there, and I'm okay with that. But then I am going to put all the outward see me, show me, know me on my business page or at least my creator page. And I'm going to maybe be intentional about that. At this stage though, because I didn't really start thinking like that, what I'm doing is just being more purposeful about the personal content I share versus um separating it. And hopefully that answered your question.
So for me,
Yeah.
just because I've heard this actually from another KW agent, that she does all of her everything comes from social media. The one thing that I struggle with, and not to put it on like a huge negative side, but
Yeah.
I feel like having social media has showed me like people kind of ruin beautiful things. So it makes me more nervous to share the personal side of my life versus just the business side. So is there really a way you can connect with people though if you're only sharing just your real estate and your listings and your things and not giving them like a personal side of you as well? Or is there kind of a way to minimize the personal side so it doesn't really allow people to too much in depth of your life, I guess?
Yeah, no, so I agree. Like, I'm grateful that you bring up that. I actually like kind of, I wouldn't say a dissenting opinion, but just like, hey, this is something that I've had a struggle with. So kids' faces is a big one that I actually hear, and I have personal friends that are like non-negotiable, don't do it. Um, you could let people, like, if you wanted to just people to know you're a mom and you talk about that, even if it's just like in a caption, that's fine if you're comfortable with that and you're just like, "Hey, just so you know, like, here's a little bit about me." Like, I did an about me post a few weeks ago. It was just like kind of a selfie of me. I'll share my Instagram with you guys at the end. So I shared this selfie. Um, and in the caption, yes, it has details about I'm a mom and all of that. But let's say I wasn't comfortable sharing any of those pictures. That's probably where I would leave it at. I could say I'm a mom of two versus I am a mom of two and their names are this and this and they are this age, right? Like there is something to be said for that. Um, it has to start, Serenity, with like what your comfort level is, and then you'll work around that because your personal life is just its own avenue, right? Um, so if you are like an example, let's say I play pickleball, if I'm willing to just open up and connect with people because I want to find other people that do pickleball and that's just something that people could connect or relate with me, then I'm going to do that. But if I just don't want people to know all this stuff about me. I think you being on video and even just talking information about educating people on what you know about the market, even just how you carry yourself is going to help people connect with you. So that's kind of a way you could get around it if you were like families off the table, if there's a few things off the table. That was a great question.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so speaking of family, I have a little tiny guy that is graduating from preschool. So I have Ian McMullen. He is our market center tech trainer out of South Valley. He's going to kind of cover the last few slides for us, specifically just the playbook that we have to share with all of you. And again, you'll get a follow-up email with everything with the slides, with our playbook, and with the screenshots that we have that we're going to share right here.
And I'll post this on kwutah.tv so you can review it. Kimber's going to send me these slides. I'll put a link to that in the description along with the current playbook.
Perfect. Yeah. And again, we'll just look at the timing of you being on the class. As long as you've attended majority of the class, we'll make sure that C gets approved. I'm big about getting it in the first 24 hours. So you should see that post 3 days maximum. I don't even think the division takes that long to reflect it. So Ian, are you on?
I sure am.
Oh, good. Okay. You are in good hands. So I sent him the slideshow, so I'm just going to stop the share. So he's going to kind of go over the detail of this awesome playbook. Just to kind of quickly tee it up, this agent, he's out of Illinois. His name's Brandon Blankenship. We're going to share his Instagram profile with you. He just has a 6-step model that he went from I don't have any followers, I don't have any business, I'm a brand new agent, to now he's a top agent in his market. And this is outdated. The playbook we're going to share with you, he's now at 90,000 followers. So he's the best example, at least that I've seen, of how somebody can take social media and actually translate it to commissions and not just have it be followers. Because followers are great, but if we don't help anybody buy or sell homes, then the return is a little bit different, right? So, Ian, you're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you,
And you will
Kimber.
all have my contact info. So reach out to me if you have any follow-up questions. I appreciate you coming.
Fantastic. So like Kimber had said, kind of talking about playbooks. So we have this awesome tool, the MREA playbook, where this goes through many different sections and it covers step by step everything you need to do in order to accomplish the specific section or master the specific section in your business. So we have a playbook strategy specifically for gaining 40,000 followers on Instagram. In here, there are 6 different steps that we cover on how to reach that accomplishment. Step 1 is going to be get local. When we're posting on social media, it's so important to be local so we get recognized in our local areas. So we're sharing about different fun facts, new things that are opening up or closing. So they know we're very involved in that local area. The second step is going to be creating your Insta brand. It's going to be taking it from just a profile that you have and making it a brand. Great leaders start with great followers. So we're going to talk about how to grow your following and who we want to be in the following. Start social farming, what that means, how to do that, how to find your specific niche audience and to attract them. 5, post. Share your content, share it freely. And then lastly is going to be to start an email list. This is going to be where we get the return. So we have 2 pages here on the right of pages that we wanted to share with you. These are fantastic example pages who follow this model religiously. So we have Brandon Blankenship. That is his tagline. And we also have Kyle Talbot. He is another fantastic example who follows this play word for word and is super successful because of it. So the first part of this play is get local. So you start by choosing your ideal geographical area where you want to buy and sell homes. This should tie into your farming. If you're doing physical farming, tie it in on social media as well. Typically, for best practice, this is going to be the area that you live in. So it's somewhere you're already active in the community. You know what's going on. You're there frequently. So best practice, I always recommend you choose the area that you live. If you don't like the area that you live or you find that may not be the best audience or the audience that you're looking for, that's totally fine as well. As long as you're okay with going and being active in another geographical location, that's totally fine. To create your Insta brand, you are going to use your super local areas as the focus. And you're going to create a brand that's short and memorable, but speaks exactly to the area that you're focusing on. So for Brandon, his account is called Living Chicago Suburbs. So for people in the Chicago area, it's very easy for them to find his account and they know exactly what they're getting when they go there. So when you're creating your Insta brand, it's important to keep that in mind. For whatever area is your target audience, you want it to be easily searchable and memorable for those. Great leaders start as great followers. So follow local accounts in that area that you're targeting as you develop your brand. So this will cause your feed to fill up with local information, and the algorithm will suggest more local businesses to you with the discovery page. So a few examples here. some coffee shops, country clubs, restaurants, local shops. You could do local libraries. The small businesses are huge. It's great to pour into those because they'll help pour back into you. So giving back to those around you in the long run is going to return back to you and help you grow a larger audience with those who are actively living in that area and play a vital part in that community. Perfect. Next is to start social farming. So as your feed starts to fill up with local businesses, you'll notice that those businesses have people who follow them as well. If you picked hyper local small businesses, the odds are good that those people are local to that area as well. So start following those people. Brandon told us that 8 out of 10 will follow you back. Once they do, send them a message. This is going to be what will close that deal and help you build that relationship with that business owner or the people who run that page. That can help you for further collaboration down the road. This is an example of the message that they send. So they say, thanks for the follow. I like following and supporting local businesses in our town. Are there others that you love that I should follow? Also, if you want to talk about real estate at any time, let me know. That's what I do. So making it super short and sweet and simple. We don't want to come across too salesy, too pushy. We're just introducing and we're networking. We want to have this be a shared resource so that they see the value from it as well as we pour into their business.
And Ian, on Instagram, just be aware that who you follow is important because it is public. If you follow somebody by mistake that you probably shouldn't be, everybody sees it.
Yep. 100%. It is crucial. Yeah. So be very wary about who you follow on there, especially with your business pages. If you're using that account for business, your future clients very well could be going in and seeing that. So
Yeah.
they can see who you are following. So you want to make sure the individuals in that list are who you want them to be.
Yeah, and like on Facebook, I mean, you get tons of requests, and a lot of times you don't even really look at who they are. It's like you see a name that's like, oh yeah, I know who they are. But in Instagram, it's even more important because they can post onto your Instagram with some really sketchy stuff.
Absolutely. Totally. The next step is post. With this play, we want you to post daily. For Brandon, what that looks like is all of his content falls into these 4 buckets. So we have coming soon or news. That's going to be new restaurants, new developments, anything that's coming up in that area. Those posts get the most engagement and get shared, especially if you're early to share that information, because everyone wants to know what that business is that's getting built on the corner. So if you're the first to share, hey, this is a Starbucks coming soon, or this is a gas station because we don't have one super close, or whatever it may be, if you can get ahead of the curve and share that first, you're going to get a lot of engagement with that. His second bucket is going to be covering restaurant reviews. So go to new restaurants or very local restaurants and take a few quick 3 to 5 second clips throughout your time there. Put them all together with a voiceover. Extra points. If you collaborate with the restaurant on Instagram, that can help you get more exposure. What the collaboration would be is it would post on both of your feeds. So not only are you reaching your audience with those who follow you, you're also going to show up on those who follow the restaurant. So you can always reach out to the restaurant or talk to them directly while they're there and ask them if they would mind collaborating with you on that. Most of the time, they're not going to turn you down because they love the free marketing. They're going to love you sharing their restaurant and their product and what they have to offer. So most of the time, they're absolutely going to say yes to you. So it's a win-win on both sides. 3 is going to be ranking and lists. So in a reel format, in a video format, put together the best restaurants, bars, coffee shops, breakfast shops, golf courses, etc. on a loop. The easiest way to do this is just Google best coffee shops in XYZ, and then copy and paste that list in ChatGPT and ask it to format as just the coffee shop name and the address. Always make sure if you're using any AI language model, double check the result that it gives you and make sure that it all looks legitimate and looks like what you are expecting. Just proof check it. But it's great to pour into those tools and help them format that for you. The 4th bucket is going to be with polls and surveys. So ask people what they think of the interior of a home, or select an area and ask who wants to see 25 off-market homes in this community. This is another great way to drive engagement where we're turning it back to them and asking them, what do you want to see from me? How can I best give you the most value for your time? And lastly, starting an email list. Like Kimber said, all these initial steps, these are fantastic to help you grow a following and build that page. But that page isn't going to do anything for us if we're not converting that into deals. The best way to do that is to start an email list. So once you start connecting with these people and growing this audience, you want to have the call to action to receive their emails. And then you want to create an email list.
I have a quick question, Ian. What do you use for your email lists? What website, like Content Create, or I don't know all of them, but
Yeah.
what do you use?
So when we're working with email lists, my best recommendation is you want to plug them into your CRM, because then you can have many different facets on how you can connect with them. So if you are a Keller Williams agent, I would always recommend you plug it into Command, and you can add them to your email lists. So you can start sending them market updates. You can send them your newsletters, add them to your nurture lists, your call lists, all the great things. But really just plug it into your CRM so they get added into your database, because those are individuals that you're building and nurturing those relationships where we want to convert those into deals. The contents of that list for best practice to get the best results, we want to make it hyper local, because these are people from this specific area. They're looking for something from you. So whatever it is that you're telling them that you're going to send, you want to make sure that that is all that it is. We want to make it clean and easy so they know exactly what they're receiving, and you're going to get their permission because they want to receive that. And then staying consistent with that.
So I have a
One
question
of the
about that.
best ways. Oh, I'm sorry, Barbara. What'd you
Sorry.
say?
So when you're saying on the freebies or whatever that you're offering,
Yeah.
those things should be like the hyper local things there. Okay, so not like okay, I'm a buyer specialist. Do you want a list of things to do? Like a first time buyer specialist. Do you want a list of things you need to do to prepare yourself to buy a home? Not something like that, because that's not hyper local.
Well, I'll say there's many answers to that. So freebies can look like many things. So that's a great example. So I'll say first time home buyer's guide. DM me this word, first time, and I'll send you my customized first time home buyer guide where I go over step by step everything you need to do to prepare to buy a home. That's something where there's nothing, no big ask from them. They know, oh yeah, I want to know every step in there. I might be looking to buy a home soon and I have no idea where to start. But there's no commitment of, okay, you have to sign with me as your agent right now to receive this. It's let me help you, let me offer this value for you, and they know what they're receiving back. Another big value add that you'll see a lot of return with is pouring into those in that local area. Some of the small businesses, reach out to small restaurants, say, hey, would I be able to post out and get a $5 off coupon? Then I'm going to share on my social media, hey, DM me 5 off. And I would love to send you a $5 off coupon for this new restaurant down the street, or free breadsticks, or a free slice of pizza, whatever it may be, connecting with those businesses. So then that's value, where then that's saving them money. They're absolutely going to respond to you. I think when you do that route, always you want to tie it back to your business. So I would note, hey, do you want to be the first to know when we have new businesses opening up in the area? I would love to reach out and add you to my list and have you be the first to know. So then we're getting their permission to add them to our upcoming lists. Maybe we send out monthly, bi-monthly, whatever that looks like for you and your bandwidth. Send out little things about hyper locally events that are coming up, activities that are happening, stuff like that, where we want to convert them over, but we're capturing them with the hook of who wants $5 off at this new restaurant down the street. Absolutely, I do. And then they're going to come back because then they're on our nurture list and they're going to receive our email with everything that's happening hyper locally. And we can share our hyper local market updates. We can share lots of great material in there that will convert it over to a sale. But all these great followers are nothing if they're not helping us with our business. So the email is going to be the most crucial part because that's where the conversion is going to come in play. So for that, a pro tip, leverage MOFers. MOFer is make offer for immediate response. So what are we offering them where absolutely they're going to raise their hand? I want to get in on that. The call to action, we want it to be very clear on what they're doing, what we're asking of them. DM me this word if you want this. And do that as often as you can because you're going to get flooded with all these new people with great engagement. And then you're going to see results from that. As we close out, I'm sorry I went a few minutes over. This is going to be what I leave for you. So what you take from this class today, these are some things that we should be focusing on. Our 5 for 25. This is the year that we are getting our social media in gear. We are launching this and we are going to become social media superstars. So social media posts. How often a week can you commit to posting? The more the merrier, as I'm sure you've learned. Website updates. Are you going to update your website with some of that information monthly or quarterly? Your email newsletter. How often are you going to send that every month? A little asterisk I would like to add on that would be you may have many different newsletters per se. You may have your hyperlocal events coming up. That could be a separate one from your primarily real estate newsletter. But dedicate a specific amount, whatever that looks like, how often you're able to send that with your bandwidth and commit to it. For your client testimonials, what is your current system for collecting new testimonials? And then what is your system for communicating and sharing those testimonials with everyone else? For capturing video content, calendar the plan. This is going to help you stay accountable for that if you commit specific days or monthly content days. So you know the 15th of every month, I am busy from 2 to 4 p.m. and I am filming my content. Maybe twice a month. That's great. However often you can block out within your bandwidth. You want to make this realistic because a question I get a lot, what is the best marketing strategy that's going to blow up my business? My answer for that is the one that you use. So you want to keep this realistic for what works for you. What are you reasonably able to commit to so that we make this happen? Well, everyone, thank you all for joining us today. It was a pleasure to hang out with you guys for a little bit at the end. As Kimber had mentioned, you are absolutely welcome to follow us on social medias as well if you'd like to see what we are up to and what different strategies and what content we're creating. You can follow both me and Kimber. Kimber's is going to be at Kimber Walton. I'll plug it in the chat as well. At Kimber Walton. And my is just my full name, Ian McMullen, and there's an extra N at the end. Oops, I sent that to someone's otter, not everyone. Hold, please. All right, there we go. Feel free to follow us. We'd love to see all that you do with your social media. And we are so excited to see you all become little social media influencers and blow up your real estate business with this. Thank you all for joining us today. Gordon, I'll tie it over back to you.
Just as a reminder, I'll be posting this on kwutah.tv, and Kimber and Ian will send me these slides. I'll put the links down below for this and the current playbook. That's it.
Fantastic. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
guys.
Gordon.